Yo,
Hey, welcome to the new meta, episode 173.
173. This is a brand new intro I've never done before, where I just say the numbers out loud after you. Yeah.
Yep. I like this one. I think we should do this for future episodes. What do you think?
Yeah, I think so too. Let's mix it up, you know?
Yep. I just closed the schedule. Good job.
Nice. Good. Who's failing this time, buddy?
Not me. I'm already got it back up. Good to go.
Cool. So what's up?
Lie.
What's going on?
Not much, man. It's been a pretty quiet
band life?
gaming week. Oh, man. So I got unbanned.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
Blizzard, ban them. Fuck WoW.
Listen.
Ban them.
So listen, here's the thing. I was when I got banned, I was like going go through your highs and lows with the game, right? And I was actually like at this peak of reinvigoration with WoW. I was into it really hard.
Okay.
And they banned me. And then when you can't do something you want to do, you want it so much more.
Okay.
Like because I couldn't play WoW, I like kind of was like, man, I don't want to play anything right now. You know? I was like, I don't want to play that. I want to play WoW and I can't. And so a couple days of that went through, and then I jumped in the new season of Apex dropped, and I've been playing that with some friends, and that's been actually a blast. So then finally, I was like, okay, we had the pod, and then Lost Ark dropped Friday, the next day, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so the hype started building up Friday morning. I'm like, all right, let's do this thing. And then 11 o'clock comes, that's when it was going to drop for me. Central time was 11 o'clock or 12. I think it was 11. And it's like nothing. I'm like, okay, all right. I checked the Twitter. The Twitter is like having some trouble. It's going to launch in a couple hours. I'm like, all right, cool. No big deal.
Mm-hmm.
Couple hours goes by, still nothing. Couple more hours goes by, still nothing. I'm getting DMs and calls and stuff from lots of people. Like this game had so much interest. I can't even, I don't know if you got the same thing. I know you've been streaming it, but the interest in this game has been off the charts, at least for me. Like I'm getting calls from people I haven't talked to, like friends
Right?
of mine that I haven't talked to in like 6 months.
I think that's the funniest thing about it is people are texting me and are like, "Oh my god, hey, have you heard about Lost Ark? It seems like it'd be right up your alley." I'm like, "Yeah, dude, I played it like 8 years ago in Korea."
That's what I tell people too. It's like, yeah, we've known about it for like 5 or 6 years, and I've played it. I've leveled 3 characters to max already, on Russian servers. So,
Yep.
But yeah, so I'm getting calls on it and stuff. And so one of my old school IRL buddies that I used to play D3 with back when it launched called me up, and I haven't talked to this guy in it's probably been a year or so.
Mm-hmm.
And it was cool, man. It was really cool to have that connection to chat. And so we jumped in Discord, and we're in Discord all night waiting for servers to come up. And we're like, okay, we're going to do this. And I'm like, we're rolling on Una. Una's a server that my podcast partner's on. We're going to get some community guys to come there. I've told other people hey, this is the server we're going to be on. Let's roll. And so soon as the servers come up, I'm logging in that minute, and Una's already locked. It's like, you can't create character here. I'm like, what the fuck? So I'm getting DMs from people, and they're like, yo, P, I thought you were going to be on Una, but it's locked. Like, where are you going? I'm like, I don't really know yet. And then people are like, I went on this server. And other guys are like, I went on this server. And so instant fucking community scatter.
Yeah.
Instantly ruined any chances of these guys being in guilds together and all this. And what makes this even worse with this is there's no server transfers. Even if they wanted to, even if it was a paid service, there's no server transfers in the game. They came out and said that it's never been in the game, and there's no technology to even do it in the game. So that's not going to be a thing. Secondly, what makes it even worse is if you claimed a founder's pack or you bought any items, they're tied to the character and server you open it on. So if you open your founder's pack on,
I read that you're going to be able to open the founders on one other server.
So they gave you another one if you oopsed, right? They gave you another one, but at the time we didn't know that, and it's kind of still crappy. I still think if you buy the founders pack, all of your characters should get all the stuff. It's kind of weird to me that
I agree.
They're linking it to one character. I think give it to all my tunes. Any tune I ever make forever should have that stuff, in my opinion.
Right. I agree.
And so anyways, all all right, so we couldn't roll on Una. So we're like, okay, what server is letting us make characters, right? Because we've been waiting all day. We've been in Discord for like 5 hours talking, right? You know, a typical game launch. Like, it's not like this is unexpected. Like, I expected this, but you know, so we get on like Valk, or I don't even know the name of the server, dude. It's some weird server. And I roll a pally. And so like I'm creating my character. I do it kind of quickly and I launch. And my buddy's in there and he's doing his a little bit slower, and then but still not crazy. And then he tries to, when he hits like, you know, go or whatever, and it's like, nope, server's full, it's on lockdown. So I got my character created. He got bumped back out of the game. He reloads really quickly, and every single server on East was locked down. Like everyone. You couldn't even make a character anymore. And we're like, what the fuck, man? And so we couldn't even play together. So he sat there waiting for any server slot to open up on any server while I leveled. He eventually gave up and went to bed. It was around midnight or 1 a.m., I think, on Friday night. So I guess Saturday morning. And he's like, fuck it, I'm going to bed. And I was like, you know, already level 20 or something by that time, 25, I don't know.
Yeah.
And so I rolled Pally, and Pally sucks, man. Like, if I'm being honest,
I've heard
Pally's
so
hot
many
garbage,
good things about Paladin, like not even funny.
No, man, like,
It's a support class though. What are you expecting?
yeah, it's not fun. Like, it's not fun. Like, the leveling, maybe like in game and leveling experiences are two different things, right? They're not really the same. You're going to use different skills, but comparatively to all of my other experiences in Lost Ark, to Berserker, to Summoner, to Shadow, is it Shadow Hunter?
Yeah,
Is the name of the class. Yeah, Shadow Hunter, and then now I've leveled a Sorceress. So of all those other classes, Pally is by far my least favorite. I mean, it's not even close. Like I had zero. I was having such little fun leveling the Pally. I made it to 32 or something. I don't know, like a decent amount.
Should have just finished and then gotten the pass.
Huh?
You should have just finished and then gotten like the pass thing.
It sucked. I didn't want to play. That's the thing. So I was enjoying my experience so little leveling the Pally that I was honestly like, I think I want to go get back on WoW. I was literally about to go jump back in WoW. And I'm like, okay, like, fuck it. And then actually what saved the day is Sunday. So that was Friday. I leveled and played a lot Saturday. And then, you know, when I could. And then I got a message on my Discord from my community guys, and they're like, hey, they're opening the servers back up. They're unlocking them. And I was like, let's go see if they did it. And they hadn't done it yet. And then so I waited a little bit, and then I got a message like, hey, they're open right now. And like people started DMing me, and they're like, right now, roll a character on my server. Everybody's like, roll a character on my server, right? And so I went and I rolled a character on the West Coast servers that's got a whole bunch of my buddies on it. And then I rolled a new Sorceress on Una so I could be in the new meta guild and so we could play together, right? And so I was like, okay, well, let me just see if I even want to do this, because Pally's not been fun. It's not as fun as I remember. And I jumped on the Sorceress and started playing, and then I did it later at night. It was like 8 or 9 o'clock at night, and I ended up staying up till 4 a.m. grinding the Sorceress because I was having a blast. Like, Sorceress was fun AF, and it reminded me of what I liked about the game so much. So whatever it was, Pally did not resonate with me, but Sorceress is phenomenal, man. I love it.
Okay.
So,
good to know.
so that's my launch experience. I hit 50 on the Sorceress today, so I kind of did two. I leveled one character to 30, quit, and leveled another one, and there was several days where I just couldn't even play the game. So it's been a pretty crappy launch, but ultimately, I think with the time gating, I don't think it'll be a huge deal. In a couple of weeks, I'll be pop back up and hopefully stuff. But so what about how's your experience been?
I mean, on Lost Ark, it's been, you know, exactly what I expected. Basically, it's, you know, I think the only thing that's really kind of surprised me is how nothing is the same as it was like when I played diligently.
They changed. So instantly when I booted the game up, I noticed that they kept the beta intros, and they didn't let you play your class specific 1 to level 10 intros.
Right.
They power leveled you to 10 and you skip the whole thing. And that's weird to me because I feel like that was those stories were actually really good and really cool. And they taught you how to play the game. They were tutorials in itself as well. I remember it was like, playing the Berserker one, and you were in the Berserker one, you started off as like a gladiator, and you had to like fight your way out of the arena and do some cool shit. But part of it was like, get this sword and put the sword on, and this is how you do it, and then this is how you attack and your skills. And but the story was cool. The story for the sorceress, the Berserker, and the assassin were all really cool stories, I felt. And it's like, damn, that sucks that people are never going to play that. On a positive note, for alts and things, you're automatically level 10, so it skips, 2 hours or an hour of wasted gameplay.
Bullshit. So, yeah, true.
Yeah.
Yeah. For me, it's just been like a learning curve of like, I don't even know. I think what I've experienced, and maybe we should hold on this until like we get into the Lost Ark and what's changed and all that stuff.
I jumped right into it because I was hot.
You really did.
I'm heated about.
You did.
It just bums me out that, and this will be the last Lost Ark until we jump to that topic. But it really bums me out that they didn't have a strat, like that they felt the need to lock the servers and force us to disperse. I understand why they thought that was the play, but shattering communities is gonna hurt the game worse than like, if I want to wait in queue for 6 hours to play with you, that's my choice, right? I have the choice to go play somewhere else if I want to. But if the desire to play with my friends is that high, then I'm gonna wait in the queue. And like Friday night and Saturday, I would have waited in the queue to level a character on the same server as my friends, right?
Yeah.
Instead of being on a server by myself, because that doesn't help me at all. Like, I don't know anybody, I can't level with anybody. I guess I could group up and do in-game activities, but I want to be in the same guild because ultimately, that's good. The servers are going to stabilize and you'll be able to log in and play. So it was crappy that they locked the servers down. Just let me sit in the queue, man.
Yeah.
So
I think that tech, will kind of escalate up through the ranks, right? So like you can't transfer servers right now in Korea, Russia, but I do think since the demand will be so high for NA and EU that will be something that
I think financially they did so well. I think that they will see I think that this will give them life to listen to that. You know what I mean? I think there's going to be a lot of power in the NA and EU voice because the launch was so successful. Like, they sold 1.5 million founders packs was the last number I heard. Yeah. I don't know if it's grown since then, but 1.5 million founders packs, even at the lowest, at the $15 tier, which was the smallest one. I mean, that's not a bad launch, for a free to play game.
Pretty great.
It's pretty cool. But yeah, I agree. I think if they put server transfers in, that'd be cool. It just still sucks that you're spending money and you're waiting 6 months to get on the same server as your buddy. Server transferring just to play with your friends because of their screw up still feels bad, So
okay, well,
but they'll learn. I hope they learn. Like WoW effed that up on Classic and it screwed me over there too. And then they fixed it for TBC, and they fixed it so well that like I think WoW did it the right way, and I hope that Lost Ark copies that layering system that they have. I think every game should. It's phenomenal, dude. So
okay. Well, is there anything else you want to get off your chest before we like start the pod? Or
no, just kidding. I'm done now. Pod's over. I'm spent. I'm tired now. So.
All right. But so last week we asked a question.
Oh, hold up. Before we get into the question, listen, Lost. No, I'm just
okay. I was going to say what? New Meta Podcast question of the week. What are your thoughts thus far on the new POE League? Option 1, oh my god, poggers. Option 2, meh. Option 3, needs work. Option 4, trash.
Where is the option 5 Lost Ark?
There is no option 5 on Twitter polls. But yes, no surprise here. Coming in at the majority of the vote, 52.4 is oh my god, poggers. 25.6% of the vote says meh. And then 15% says trash, which I assume is that majority of the thought it was funny to say trash. And 6.1 says needs work. And I'm honestly surprised by this. Should have been like 70-30, in my opinion. New league is insane, bro. I'll say it again, second best league ever for Path of Exile. Ever. So
yeah, that kind of begs the question. So no, I'll wait on that.
Begs the question. Okay.
I have it. I have a question, but I'm gonna save it for later.
All right.
I have it written down. I won't forget.
And then for next week, a Lost Ark question. New Meta Podcast question of the week. What are your thoughts thus far on Lost Ark? Option 1, totally addicted. Option 2, pay to win, unplayable. Option 3, playing but filthy casual. And option 4, of course, is meh.
Meh.
Tweet that out. Let you guys vote.
Right.
I hate that when I tweet that out, like I can't get to it unless I like go to my feed and then, anyways. Twitter. Boom. But yeah.
There it is.
We'll talk about that piece next week. I'm going to talk about it this week as well. But no time to waste here. We got some, I had added to the schedule that there wasn't a lot going on in the Diablo world, which is totally true. That is the topic. I think at this point we might have heard something, hush hush through the grapevine, and we could like start to speculate and be like, oh, things are happening, right?
Yeah.
But nothing. Literally nothing.
Yeah.
But you added some pretty sad news to the schedule.
Yeah, there's cue up the world's smallest violin.
I know.
It's some sad
came out of
stuff going
nowhere.
on.
So Tom Powers, Hooli, tweeted out, "This is my last day at Blizzard. Working with the Diablo team is a journey filled with many fantastic people, creator, and partners. I'll be forever grateful for that experience. For me, a new adventure begins. Exciting challenges await." So, goddamn. Godspeed.
Rest in peace, Mr. Powers. New adventures. I'm excited to see what's going on. Yeah. I saw this. This happened a couple days ago. I don't remember exactly when. It's been a little bit, but when I saw the tweet, I was like, "Dang!" And so I responded like, "Thanks." Tom was actually really nice to me. I had a good experience with Tom, so that was really cool. He was one of the first people I talked to. Him and Filthy Rich were the first two people I talked to when the new regime came in, and they both been awesome. So it kind of sucked to see Tom go, but yeah, man, it's interesting to see. Like, it's made me think about recently, like all my last day at Blizzard posts, and there's been a lot of those lately. And I even saw one, and I should have put this in the schedule. I just now reminded me of it. I saw one. So World of Warcraft lead, I think it was the lead reward designer. I don't know his exact title, but what he did was he was the guy that invented Azerite armor, which is like one of the most hated systems in the history of the game.
Nice.
And the Azerite necklace, the legendary neck. I forget the name
Paragon.
of it. Yeah, which was like one of the most hated systems. And so Wowhead tweeted out an article. They wrote an article and they tweeted the article, and it was basically like, lead designer leaves, and then they listed like all the things that people hated that he did, basically outing him, knowing it was going to cause like this shitstorm of comments, like of trashing him and throwing him under the bus. And so I read that. By the time I saw it, it already had like 5,000 replies or some crazy number of stuff going on. And I started reading through that, and it was just like some people just pooping all over him, and then some people defending him like, that's really low, Wowhead. Why are you throwing him under the bus like that and stuff? And so it kind of made me just think about all these people that I've seen leaving Blizzard lately, and it's weird, man. Like,
yeah, I don't know. Things.
It's a lot. It's a lot of people. A lot of people that I've.
Yeah, I mean, from the strictly outside perspective, right? Like, it's hard to see this as anything but positive. Like all these people leaving, and the new ownership, and hopefully Bobby Kotick getting forced out. It's hard.
I think they're leaving. You think I don't see bad, because like I know from my experience, Tom wasn't a bad guy. He was really nice. So
no. I'm saying that.
I know that. I know that's not what you're saying either. I'm just saying, like, part of you wants to look at it and say, okay, all the bad eggs are leaving, right? They're weeding them out and they're kind of forcing them to leave. But it also could be like the good guys are saying, I'm tired of this, man. I'm out. I'm finding something better because I'm tired of putting up with this BS at the workplace all the time. So I don't know, man. I don't know how I feel about it, but I hope that my favorite games ever are WoW and Diablo. So I hope that WoW gets turned around, and I hope that Diablo 4 comes out and it's amazing. So I hope they keep bringing in good talent while they're replacing these guys that are leaving. So
yeah, I mean, I think Tom Powers is the first one I've been like, oh, okay, like that kind of sucks. I haven't really known of anyone else. It's like, oh, shoot, right?
Yeah.
Well, I think I'd be like 4. really, really concerned if like Pez or Rich or those guys like left. I'd be like, oh shit, like what the fuck?
If Pez and Rich both left now after talking to, you'd be like, what?
then
the
I'd be
hell's
really
going
worried.
on?
And I'd be like DMing Leviathan and being like, what the fuck is going on?
Yeah, I mean, there's more. Like, there was a PR lady that left. There was like a HR lady that left. There was a bunch. And you know, I've got I know some people that work for Blizz, and I've heard them say good things about some of the people that have left. There's like, these weren't bad people that left. Some of these guys were really good. So it sucks, you know. So yeah, I hope, you know.
Yeah.
The only one I can think that they brought, I know they brought Leviathan in to work on D4. So I hope, you know, I hope that they're bringing in new talent and like, you know, I know that he's an avid Diablo player, so
yeah.
at least there's somebody on the team
That'll
be the voice of reason and
understands community, things. Hopefully,
like, yeah, right. So,
but yeah, sad news, sad days.
Yeah, it does kind of suck, man. So keep tabs, see what he does.
Yeah. Hopefully he does something cool. Maybe Lost Ark.
Hopefully, yeah, maybe he gets on. He gets on. He's like, yo, staying with Activision. I just signed on with I'm like the new community manager for King Games or I don't know, like whatever. Yeah. Whatever other company.
POE. As stated before, this has been my second favorite league ever. It is so addicting, the new Atlas, and the maps are so incredibly juiced, and it's easier than ever in SSF to get, you know, target farm, not necessarily exactly precisely target farm, but if I need, like, you know, more clusters, I can farm Arch Nemesis and get more clusters, and obviously get more clusters by juicing Delirium on my skill tree. You know, right now I'm on a hunt for timeless jewels, which come from Legion, so I've respect my Atlas skill tree to do more Legion, and I can also get more Legion shards through Arch Nemesis. So I don't know, this whole system of Arch Nemesis is fantastic, and the biggest complaint we all had at that point was, okay, Arch Nemesis is cool, but it sucks. Like, the UI is just awful. Like, because you just had this giant wall of little modifier boxes, and you would have to, I had this like pretty cool website that I used, Arch Nemesis mods, and so I'd have to like be like, okay, what do I need for Treant? And I have to go to Treant, and then it pulls up, okay, I need a Toxic, Sentinel, and Steel Infused. But like sometimes it's layered, so like say if I need a Shikari, like that's an Entangler, a Soul Eater, and Droughtbringer, and none of those are drops. Like you have to actually make each one of those, so you have to be like, okay, what do I need for Intangible? And like you can sit there for like 5 minutes being like, okay, now I think I have it figured out what I want to craft.
It's POE level.
Yeah.
It's just, that's POE in a nutshell. Yeah. Right. Okay.
And so that was obviously not ideal. And so just today, like probably like, God, 2-3 hours ago, so I haven't really got to play with it a ton. They implement some improvements. So now the recipes are a lot more clear as far as like what you're able to craft, and as soon as you put one in, it like shows you the other components you would need to craft that one. And you can also see from this drop down box the recipes that are an option based on what you have inside the window at that time.
Oh, that's cool. That is kind of cool.
Yeah, and then
so
also
based on the ones you have, you hit the drop down, and it'll show you everything you can make.
Yeah,
every combination.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's highlighted cool. In yellow. And more importantly is you can use this drop down to be like, okay, well, I really want a mana siphoner. Like, what the hell do I need? And you can see it that way instead of like what I was doing is going to this third party site and going back to the game. And so yeah, always a big fan of getting everything you need, all the information you need in game. Obviously, Path of Exile has really struggled with this historically and still does. And that's never going to not be a thing to not have, you know, the Path of Exile wiki up at all. I've got it favorited on my top bar because it's just like so absolutely necessary to have at all times.
They just make complex systems and there's no way to put that stuff in game. It's
and
so
I think
hard.
that's like, I heard this argument come up recently because, you know, we're in the era of like, okay, so Diablo 3 is become really quite stale. They're not adding new content. Now we have Lost Ark, and I think people are discovering, even though you're an ARPG fan, and a lot of people that listen to this podcast might be like, oh, Pogger is a new ARPG to play. I think as people play it, they're realizing, oh, this is an MMO. Like, even though we've been saying it for a long time, like, you don't really know until you like play it, and you're like, okay, this really is like an MMO.
When I first started playing, I was like, this is an ARPG. And then after a day or two, I'm like, no, this is an MMO.
Mm-hmm.
After a couple of weeks, there's no question.
Right.
Like, it's an MMO.
Like, this is WoW.
Like, straight up. It's MMO. It's WoW.
Right.
So
So
on crack.
right, and so the question gets brought back is, I heard the streamer say, I think it was Steel Mage say today that, especially at the league start, like Path of Exile's difficulty is so incredibly front loaded. Like they really don't ease you into the game at all. And while that's awful formula for attracting new players, like all these players keep coming back and like we're in love with it because it's so complicated and blah, blah, blah. So I think it's gonna be like tough to find that mix. And I hope that POE can somehow capitalize. And I think that's one of the most positive things about, Lost Ark popping off right on Twitch and having all these downloads, and like it might get people more excited about other top-down isometric RPGs, and hopefully like that means more people go to Diablo. Hopefully it means more people go to POE. But like POE just needs like people, like it needs like visibility or something. Because like we look at what 250,000 or whatever concurrent at the start of the league launch, and Lost Ark had like millions, like actual millions.
Oh yeah, Lost Ark had 500,000 in just Asmon's channel.
Right.
I mean, it's like it's stupid.
That's insane.
Yeah, it's like but here's so from somebody that's played Lost Ark, and I'm not on the like I like Lost Ark. I do. Lost Ark has so many things that I think it's absolutely fantastic about it, but for some reason it doesn't have that draw to keep me playing. And
we'll get into that. Just chill out. I know you want to go on your Lost Ark rants right now.
No. I was saying POE. Did I say Lost Ark?
You said Lost Ark. You said Lost Ark.
I meant POE.
Oh, okay.
I meant POE. So, and I think part of it is, the grind to learn the systems. I don't find it necessarily fun to play a game and not understand what I'm doing. And I understand I like the complexity, but at some point, like when I was trying to understand the maps, the old map system, and I'm like reading stuff and looking at stuff, and I'm like, what the fuck what is going on with this? Like, I still don't understand. Like, if I put these maps in here, it makes it this. And I understand that people were like even you, I was like, what? And they're like, just do this. This works. Yeah. And I'm like, okay, I understand it works, but why does it work? Like, how does this work? And I never read something that made it make sense.
Right.
I knew what to do because people told me what to do, but I'm like, I don't understand how this works. And like, that's not really fun for me personally. Yeah. I'm like, yeah, this is, I like complex stuff. I don't like overly complex stuff, but I think you hit that spot in POE where stuff just starts to come together, and then you're on the downhill slope and it's not as bad. But that uphill grind to just understand the systems, I think makes it a little bit less fun. Even though I can appreciate it. Like, I do appreciate it for what it is. Like, I like the complexity. At the same time, I don't. So, I don't know.
I agree with that sentiment of like, I think once you start to master some of the systems, you do start like, you use Propel. You're going downhill, and it's like, okay, now I feel like I understand the Atlas. Like I can understand bestiary, and okay, now that I understand bestiary, I can understand Delve. And just like one by one, you start to learn the league mechanics, and then by the time you finally mastered one, they take it out of the game.
So it's really cool. Like that. So that being said, though, is I'm definitely not a fan of the casual. So it's this weird slippery slope, because like part of my pushback against POE is like, man, it's so complex that I don't feel like investing the time to learn it, to play it, because I'm not really sure if I'm going to love the game. And I've played a lot, and the lot that I've played isn't enough to make me be like, well, I like this more than WoW, or I like this more than XYZ game. I do like it, but not more than that game. And so I think that's part of my hang up. But like if D4 comes out, like I want it to be as complex as POE or more. Like if you were asking me, because I already know I'm going to invest the time to learn the systems. So it's weird though, right?
That is really weird.
I mean, I guess if the game was garbage, I wouldn't. But like I have hope. Like the game that I want to fall in love with, I want it to be complex. So, but I do agree. POE needs some way to ease newer people into the game, because everybody that's new to POE tells you, like, I don't know what's going on. This is overwhelming. This is too much. So I don't know if there's a way that they can ease that in.
Yeah, and it seems like they're going in the kind of opposite direction. It's like, well, that's not our audience, so like, well, fuck them. And they did do a lot in like this one. So like the Atlas is obviously makes sense, right? Like it's not. I had at no point when I got to the Atlas was I like, well, how does this, like, it was super clear how it worked. Like, there
Was it
no
super clear
question.
because you already had prior Atlas knowledge, or with somebody that didn't? Like, let's say I got to the Atlas. Am I going to be in there and be like, yeah, I get this. This is cool. This makes sense.
You know, that's a good question. I think that a brand new player, let me open it up and like explain why I think it's easier and how that might not make sense. Right? So yeah, I think that maybe it doesn't do the best job, but I also didn't like watch the tutorials and stuff like that. You know what I mean? But yeah, so it starts you down here now, which is great, and you like work your way up. But I don't think you would know as a new player, like, hey, if I run Vault T1, I'm the maps that I could potentially drop from the boss are either other T1 maps that I've already completed, or the higher up,
ones adjacent,
the ones that are in a line. I don't think the game does a very good job explaining it. And it certainly doesn't say like, hey, if you sell 3 vaults, you could get a shrine or you could get a waste pool, depending on the, you know, kind of like a key combination or whatever.
Yeah, but I think if you started at one of those entry level maps and you ran that a couple of times, I think you're going to start to figure out like, oh, this map I just got is connected to the one I just ran. That makes a little sense.
And it does. And I think you would figure that out. But the fact that it doesn't kind of front load that, I guess.
But you can explain that to somebody in just like 10 seconds, like you just did to me, right?
Totally.
With the previous system, it was like, what
the fuck? Right. Yeah. I agree. Yeah. And it's weird too, because like the system before that it was a lot easier to understand. It was the Conquerors. Although I love the Conquerors.
They do that shit on purpose?
That's great. I don't know.
You think they POE themselves? Like, I'm just gonna call it POE. You think they POE that hard to like, let's make this so big brain that nobody understands?
I think that they had a really like a good idea with the Conquerors, and they were like kind of so excited about just getting that idea to go that when they kind of scaled it back and thought about, well, how is this going to look like to a new player? They're like, oh, like how can we do that? But they were so invested in the idea that they already had that they're like, well, like maybe in the future we can like come back and take a look at that. I think POE does that a lot. They're like, they get really excited about an idea. It's like rush, get that developed, get it out there, and then it's like, okay, well, we can clean it up later.
Or maybe the community comes back with better feedback, and they're like, yeah, that's a great idea. Let's implement that.
Which is cool.
Which is cool. It's a cool thing. I think for any game to have a lasting appeal, it's got to be fluid. You can't set a system in a game and have it set in stone, because developers and communities a lot of times ask for shit that we don't want. Like we say like, oh, I really want the game. I wish the game did this. Sure. And then they put that in the game and you're like, man, you know what? I was wrong. This sucks.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then, so I think if it's fluid enough and they listen to feedback, that's a huge thing for me with Diablo 4. I hope Diablo 4 listens to feedback, and if they put some shitty systems in there that they're open to, like, okay, we goofed this one. We'll what's back on the drawing table. Let's get a new one.
You know, and I always think of like when the community asks for something, and like I always think of like, I've heard internally from Blizzard, like people will tell the story of COE as like an example of, oh, like the community thinks they want something and then they get it, and then it's like, oh, like now at every season it's like, God damn it, we're running COE.
Yeah.
But I don't think like that's
not
a bad example.
That's
a horrible example, right?
Yeah, because you're always gonna have that meta item though. Like the problem isn't COE, the problem is it was meta for 4, 6, 12 years straight.
Exactly.
Like you can't.
It's the fact that there no new content was added after COE.
Yeah.
To outpower
what were we running
COE,
before
right?
Jordan, right?
Yeah.
So we ran
SOJ,
Jordan.
Furnace.
Okay, so now SOJ. So we would still be running SOJ today if they didn't put COE in, because that's like one item. Like it doesn't fix the game for 12 years.
Right.
So
I just always think of that in my head, because they're always like, well, you know, you asked for this thing.
Well,
like,
I always think of Bobby saying like, you think you do, but you don't.
Right.
Talking about
like,
classic launch, and it's like, no,
they really did.
Fucking yes, we do. Like I've only played classic for a year now. Like, yeah, we want it, dude.
Yep.
So don't tell me what I want. You know.
Mm-hmm.
But sometimes we're wrong. You know, I know that historically there's been things that, you know, people are always like, we want more juice in D3, and I'm like, no, you don't. Like you need the stat squish, and then now we're at this spot where you're just blazing 150s. Like how much fun is that? You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So let's tone it down. You know,
I think if I was gonna give any gripe about the new Atlas, is I don't feel like I get master missions very fast, and the only way I'm getting them is through harvest. Like there's a craft and harvest that says sacrifice a map to get X amount of missions for that map tier or whatever. And so I'm getting those, and that's how I'm getting missions. But I've even like spec'd into getting more missions, and I still.
How's respecing your Atlas skill tree?
Not a big deal. You've seen Orbs of Regret, which, you know, usually at this point in
Just
the game.
the same ones that do your talent tree?
So Orbs of Regret, you trade 2 and you can get these Orbs of Unmaking. So, but Orbs of Unmaking also drop. So
okay, so it's a 2-to-1. So that's cool.
Yeah.
And I'm sure if you played Trade League, you could just trade for them probably pretty cheap.
Oh yeah,
so
for sure. But yeah, that would be my, I think, only gripe so far, which is not really even that much of a gripe. I also, you know, Conquerors are really rare, and I don't, even when I was spec'd, there's like a note on the tree to get you more scouting reports, and scouting reports is what lets you reroll the master missions on your Atlas, which is a great way of like getting some of those more rare maps and stuff like that. But I don't feel like the scouting reports like ever drop, at least not the good ones. So also a thing. And also, I think that I said this before the league even started, the fact that your Curac missions don't get you the map modifiers you have spec'd. It's the only thing that is like that. So that if you take a Curac missions, you're not getting any of the modifiers. So like a player might be like, oh, I'm going to pick Legion because I'm fully spec'd in the Legion. But because you're picking it through the master missions, you don't get any like of your own modifiers. Yeah. It's kind of weird. But it's nice to focus. Like if I do this Delirium, I know I could go in there, rush the boss, and get like 10 Simulacrum shards. So it's not like totally worthless, but it could be more juicy, I guess. But maps are, I think a lot of players right now, the feedback I've been getting from the community is that people feel that maybe maps are too juiced. Like you can spend, 10 minutes in a T16 because it's fully juiced up on Harbinger, it's fully juiced up on Essences, maybe you throw in a Legion and some Blight, and the thing takes 20 minutes. And I think that's fantastic personally, but these new bosses take a ton of time. So you have to beat 28 maps to be able to spawn one of the new bosses.
Yeah.
28 maps.
Yeah, so you better be juicing them fast.
And so I've been playing pretty hard, and I have spawned one more Eater of Worlds. And here's the other shitty part about this too. And I'm only 4 maps in the other guy. But the other shitty part is so at 14 you get the mini boss, and at 28 you get the boss. And at 14, because my inventory is so padded full of stuff, I sold my invitation. You could sell it. And so I'm like, I never got the thing.
Did you do it on accident?
I did it on accident. And I just sold it for like an identity scroll shard. I was like, why can you even sell that? It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
So like that's a pretty big oversight of a player like
that
me.
That is a bummer for 14 maps to then sell it on accident.
Yeah.
Is like
14 maps is a long time. Yeah. So that would be my biggest gripe. Yeah, I agree with the sentiment that maybe like maps are too juiced, but I really like juicing up maps like crazy. I think the problem more is just we can't 28 maps to spawn a boss.
Maybe drop that number down. What if they cut it in half? Would that be more reasonable? 7 and 14?
Even 20 or 15, somewhere in there. I don't know. But I guess Trade League, I hate that this game is balanced around Trade League, but it is what it is. I'm sure you can fly through that.
That's always going to be a problem.
Always going to be a problem. So. But League's fantastic. What else is going on? Oh, so this thing happened today. So Path of Exile, and I thought it honestly when they first tweeted this out, I thought they were joking. I thought it was a meme
too. Yeah, I did too. I thought it was a meme.
Bex is like pretty phenomenal in the meme department. She tweeted out a long time ago about she was previewing the new currency shards for this new league. And I was like, oh my God, we're getting cosmetic, we're getting cosmetic currency now. And so she's like, that's really interesting. And like wrote it down like as a suggestion. I was like, no, wait. So she's like really good on the memes. And so and weird thing when she tweeted that, I just assumed it was a meme. But it's not. It's a real thing. So Curac's Vault Pass is Path of Exile's version of the Battle Pass. And I think, and I can't speak for everyone in the community, but I think people misunderstood this because they originally saw it and you see what's on it and you're like, holy crap, right? So you've got like 17 levels in, a ruby flask that gives you the extra projectile. The thing's insane. And then 33 in, you get this like shield that's super rare in game. And then, at 67, you get Paradoxica, which is pretty rare, and then you get the Bottled Faith at 100, and then you get Headhunter at 117. I think that's how people originally saw it. I still think people might.
Everybody's gonna have Headhunter.
Yeah, I think people still might be confused about that, but literally everything on this is just cosmetic. So you get this pass, and it gives you like a special skin if you have that particular unique. So if you had the Dying Sun, which is that flask we were just talking about, it will give you basically a celestial thing that happens only with that skin, only on your already existing that you farmed yourself Dying Sun.
Yeah. I mean, they literally have a line in there that says, "Is this pay to win in any way?"
Right.
And their answer is no.
Yeah.
Access to Kirak's Vault is cosmetic skins offer no gameplay advantage over other players.
Right.
So,
and so I do think that a lot of people read that or watched and were like, "Oh my god," freaking out because they thought it was a battle pass for pay to win, which it is in some games. Lost Ark included 100%, because they've got, more of a pay to win like battle pass thing. But yeah, it's completely and totally cosmetic. No, but I still think people are freaking out about this. I think there's some valid freakouts. Like some people are saying, if I've got a ton of cash on POE, which I actually kind of do right now, I've got 1,900 points that I'm just sitting on. You can't buy this thing with the points. You can only buy it with cash, which is $30. Yeah. So I think that's something that they'll change, but I think that's a valid complaint.
A new way for them to get more money. Maybe they got people sitting on points like, hey, we need more cash coming in.
Yeah.
I don't know how I feel about battle passes in general. I can tell you the last couple Apex leagues, I've bought the battle pass, and historically I haven't, but I like the game a lot and I want to support them. Even if I didn't really like the cosmetics, but I wanted to get to the max battle pass in Apex, and I'll tell you, it did encourage me to play. There were days where I was like, oh man, I need to go log in Apex and grind some battle pass because I don't want to miss on the rewards for the season. So it did actually do its job and get me to come back and play the game. So I don't know, man. I think if it's a game that you're going to invest tons of time in, I think they're cool. I think it's a good thing. If it's something that you casually want to do, then maybe stay away and just get the skins when you want to. But
yeah,
we'll see how it turns out. That's not a lot of rewards. $30 for those. I'm sure there's going to be a lot more to it than this. This seems like just a rough overview. But if for $30 you're only going to get 8 items, that doesn't seem like. I mean, I don't know. POE's.
8 skins for $30 and Path of Exile. Path of Exile historically.
Yeah, I know. That's what I was just thinking. Their stuff's kind of high. So
yeah,
at least in my opinion. So.
Honestly, for me, I would completely ignore this personally because there's nothing on there. But I can tell you if okay, tier 8 is like Venom Geyer, it makes it red or something. I'd be like, okay, I'm in. I'll do that. I'll spend. But I would hope they'd had the points by then. But yeah, I mean, I don't think it's a big deal. It's cosmetic. Do whatever you want with cosmetics, in my opinion, man. I could give 2 shits if it's.
Yeah, I'm kind of the same way. I think a lot of these free to play games are so phenomenal at how much content they're giving you for no money, and I think POE does a pretty good job of not making the game pay to win.
Yeah,
it's pay to skin, pay to convenience.
Yep,
and pay to convenience is a little scummish. It can get a little scummish in my opinion too. But when they intentionally design the game shitty to make you buy things to make it like it should have been designed in the first place. And I know POE does that a little bit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So they put currencies in and stuff with the design of, we're going to make a tab for this when they could easily just, not do that. So, but they're a business. They're trying to make money. So I get it.
Yeah.
And that, yeah. So support them if you like it. If not, who cares?
Agreed. And then, finally moving into Lost Ark. You want to start up your rant again?
Okay, so listen, Lost Ark so screwed up the launch. No, it was. I will say I've had a good time with Lost Ark, and I know it's. I got a lot of messages.
You were definitely on the fence last week about I don't even know if I'm going to play this thing.
I was.
Who are you?
I was in my WoW, got banned, and I was upset, and I didn't want to play any games. I was mad, and then I started playing the Pally, and I was like, "This isn't fun. This isn't."
Okay. Yeah.
This isn't what I wanted. This is I wanted to. I actually thought about it for a little bit, and I'm like, a Pally is going to be needed in every group. It's S tier PVE. It's S tier PvP. It's I'm going to make this Pally, and then it'll be, I'll be that guy.
Mm-hmm.
And I started playing it and I was like, dude, this is not fun. I'm not having a good time. This doesn't make me want to keep playing the game. I don't have the big wombo combos that I was used to and that, gave you so much joy. And um but then once I rerolled Sorceress, it was like it was it. That was the thing, man. It was the class. Like, cause I'm having a blast.
Okay.
I will say that going through it again for the fourth time is a little, like
exactly.
there's some differences. There are some things that feel like I'm like, I don't remember this part, which it could just be I forgot or they changed it. I don't know. But a lot of it's the same. They changed some of the systems. The card system's totally different than what I remember. I don't even think it was in like that at all in the Russian version, but at least not when I played. And there's a lot of systems that I can actually read what they are now that you couldn't
Right.
before. So that's kind of cool.
Yep.
There's so many systems in Lost Ark that I'm not really paying a lot of attention to them yet. But I'm like, eventually, like here's one that I never did in any of my Lost Ark play. I never worked on my what do they call them? Life skills. Your mining, your fishing,
Sure.
your tree cutting, whatever they call it.
Trade skills.
And so
is what they're called in this one.
Yeah, they trade skills. What they call them here.
Yeah.
So I don't know how big of an importance they play. Like I've been mining and gathering, plants and things when I run across them every now and then. Part of me is like, skip it. I want to hurry up and level. And part of me is like, well, if I have to come back and do this later because it's super important, I'm going to be glad I did. So I haven't done any research on that. The card system is okay, but there's like cards and then there's books. And like, so I get these cards that I can't equip, but then I go to the book tab and they're in the books. And it's like, well, what the hell is this? Like, I have to figure out what's going on with that. Do you know by chance?
Sure.
Okay.
Sure.
You know the difference between the cards and the books? Okay. So good. I'll hit you up on that. I don't even know, man. There's just more systems,
Yeah.
So.
And I think that what I'm experiencing right now is so like I'm coming into it and like it's a lot. It's a lot. And I feel like this is maybe what some of you guys experience when you jump in the lost or into POE sometimes. Yeah, but I think everything so far has been kind of cool. I think my biggest gripe personally is so I got in, I knew exactly like hit end game. I know I need to start grinding chaos dungeons. Oh, hey, surprise, chaos dungeons are actually like the GR thing that you could farm before. It's like, oh, okay. Like they didn't expect that, but that's fine. You grind in a bunch of mobs with the group and you get gear and shards and stuff to upgrade your gear. Fine. I knew I needed to get into the Guardian raids right away, and so I started doing those. I was basically logging in to do those daily because in my mind, we had to grind those like, I think we spent 3 or 4 days on each Guardian before we had enough loot to advance to the next Guardian.
Well, didn't they time us out back then? Couldn't we only do it like could you do it daily?
You could do
was
it 3 times back then, and it still didn't have enough after a few days to upgrade to the next tier. You can only do it twice
3 times a day
in
right?
NA. Yeah, 3 times a day, but you can only do it twice right now. So you can actually do it more then than you can do now.
Wow.
But I only did each Guardian 1 time because I had enough mats after doing each Guardian to upgrade my tier of gear to the next tier. So I just felt like I just completely flew through tier 1. Like, and I was watching Bloodshed a little bit today. He just hit like T2 yesterday, and that's where I'm at right now. I'm getting into T2, and he was at like 540 gear score or something like that, and jumped up to like 900 today. And so it's like, Jesus, like now he's almost done with T2.
Yeah, I remember I grind for a couple weeks just to get like 700. It was like a pinnacle back then. It was like 700 was a baller. And I put in some work to get that. And I was like, hell yeah, I was proud when I did it. So
I think that's kind of, I don't know, sad, I guess. Because I think the Guardian raids are some of the coolest things about this game. And you going into them, you see him 1 time, and then you're ready for the next guy. You never even mastered the previous guy.
I don't know. I don't know if I wonder if they're focusing more on alts now than they did back then when we played. Because I keep hearing like you have to have all these alts to support your main. It was different. It was different back then too because I couldn't read natively all the stuff, right? So like I'm using Google Translate to figure out like, okay, I remember holding my phone up to my screen to try to figure out what something was saying so I could, like, okay, how do I do this? So,
And
I don't know.
People are at 1K before like the game even released to like the public gear score. So it's like, I don't know, man. I feel like I'm obviously, I feel like there's some small pressure because everyone is like gearing up fast and I don't want to get left behind. But at the same time, like they're going to get to T3 and then they're going to be doing those like same raids every single day. And then like maybe
That's
gearing
what
up
my
other
point
alts
is.
to T3.
That's what my point was earlier. It's like, I don't feel like that behind, like the launch was scuffed for me, and starting a character days late because the servers were down and I didn't buy the pass. And then it's like, okay, and then I re-rolled. It's like I'm behind, but I hit 50 today. I'll be fine. I think I'll have plenty of time to catch up. My fear isn't fear of missing the content. My fear is that people are going to burn out and stop playing. You know what I mean? I'm afraid that by the time it's like, okay, I'm going to say, hey, Fluff, man, I just got the T1. Let's go run some T1s. And you're going to be like, nah, I don't need that shit. I'm T3.
True.
And be like, okay, cool. You know what I mean? And then it's like, hey, Fluff, I got to T3. And you're like, yeah, I quit Lost Ark 4 months ago, new POE League. You know what I mean? So like, that's the fear of missing out that I think a lot of us are going to run into, not necessarily because you're going to have plenty of time to get your characters geared up.
Yeah.
I don't think that's going to be the issue. So,
but the other thing that I think it gets missed here is like, I still don't understand other systems at this point. Like when I was in Korea and, you know, I hit max level, like again, when I said it would take like days before you were ready for the next tier. So you'd have days on the same Guardian or even weeks sometimes. And it would give you that time to be like, okay, well, I need to get my 20 island hearts so I can get my skill potion. And so you'd have time to kind of learn that system. Whereas right now I just feel like, well, I've been jettisoned into T2 and there was none of that time to learn about like island hearts and any of these other systems really.
I thought it taught you about island hearts as soon as you got your ship too. Like I got my ship. It
does, but it's like you don't really learn about
that
the
wasn't
events
the first thing I did.
Yeah.
It was like I got my ship and it's like go do the little miniature fairy princess island. And I was like, that's where it took me first. And I was like, I thought it took me to the big turtle thing first and it taught me about the island hearts and stuff. Maybe I missed it. Maybe I went out of order. I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's definitely been a different experience. But it's the same game. It's the same and different at the same time. Like Sorceress wasn't around when I played before. It was Summoner. And Sorceress is a better class, I feel. I think it's more fun than Summoner was even. So yeah, it's interesting, man. It's cool. I still don't know how hooked I'm gonna be long term. I don't know if this is gonna be a game that I'm gonna play for years, weeks, months. I don't know. You know? I still don't know how deep it has me hooked. And I think a lot of that has to do with the other games. Like, you know, Diablo and WoW are number 1, number 2. And it's like Diablo's doing nothing right now. So it's off the map, right? So I got room. But I'm still into WoW. WoW's gonna, you know, I'm still hooked on that. So we'll have to see like how good Lost Ark gets. If it's good enough to overtake some of those other games, then I'm down. But I'm not sure. I'm not sold yet. Like I'm gonna play and grind, hopefully get through the first couple tiers, and then I hope it's good enough. I hope the cadence is fast enough, to keep me going. Like, oh, I want to play this. Oh, I want to get back into this. So,
I think that for me personally, I could see myself getting to T3 and then being like, okay, well, I've done all the things, and then like, okay, well, I'll you know, maximize Shoeshire, get my skill potion. I'll do my 20 Iron Hearts, get my skill potion, and then once I've done the content that I really feel like I need to make my character as powerful as I could, then I'm just logging in daily to do the stuff that's actually going to juice up my gear.
I don't think that's my thing is I don't think that this game has been good enough. I shouldn't like the game's phenomenal. I don't want to say it's not good enough, but it doesn't sink its hooks into me deep enough to make me like care to log in every day to make sure I get my login bonuses. And like how much am I going to care about having all these alts? Like, I think a lot of this game is going to be based on gearing alts and things too. I don't know if I care that much. And if I have to have them
to do alts, honestly, I don't think you'll be required to. I think the people that are really concerned about alts are the people that are like trying to get like plus 15 T3. I think that that's fine and good for them, but there's nothing really for like, so Lost Ark's all about like, you know, gear threshold limits. So as long as you like get to T3 and you're like T1, T2 inside of T3, like you're fine. You don't have to get like plus 15. It's just for like bragging rights. And that's what people want the alts for. Is so they can just juice all their juice into like their main dude. But you don't have to do that. Like I'm not going to do that. I refuse to do that.
Yeah, I don't think I'm going to do that either. Like I don't care that much. So we'll we'll have to see.
I think the nice thing, what I was trying to get to, I think the nice thing here is it's going to be so different, right? So we have, well, this might not be a different experience for you, but it will be for me, right? So we have Diablo and POE, and those get reset. Every 3 months, poof, you're starting new. It's fresh, whatever. Mm-hmm. And D3, that's not necessarily you're starting new. You're just like starting over. POE, it's like you're starting new, and that's nice. But I think with this game, it'll be kind of nice because like when this game, say it's quarterly, I doubt it gets. I would say probably like biannually.
6 months.
Yeah. It's more realistic that we get like a new season of Lost Ark. It's like I'm not logging in and like, fuck man, I have to level a Shadow Hunter again and like go through all the that'd be I would blow my brains out and never play this game again. It's just like I pick up where I left off and there's new stuff to do.
There's new stuff. It's like an expansion. Their seasons are like expansions, kind of, so
yeah.
So I think that'll jump into the new content. Yeah. And that's the MMO experience that you get. It invalidates all the hard work you put in, but you don't have to redo that same hard work. Yeah. It's new stuff now.
So my advice to anyone that's playing playing Lost Ark is literally just like take your time, play the game, enjoy it, enjoy your experience. I don't feel like it's going to be a rush. Like you might feel a rush because everyone around you is like, oh, I got to get to next tier, get to next tier. Like, but it's really like you'll have no problem getting in groups. Guardian raids are because it's shared across your entire region. If you don't have your character
set, do it on Una and join the new meta.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah. We got some space. Servers are unlocked. I know a lot of people were trying to get in with us when they went live on Friday and it was totally scuffed. Mm-hmm. So if you're not playing with buds or you want to re-roll a character, then roll on over on Una.
Yeah.
There's the guilds. The guild search feature opens up around level 10, 15, something 20, something like that. It's pretty low. You just search. It's called new meta. There's no the on the front. It's just new meta. Search it up. You'll find us. So
yeah. So again, just take your time, get through it. There's really no rush. You can power through. I'm worried that and I don't even think I'm going that hard is the other thing, right? So I'm already T2. I don't really feel like I've been going that hard last week. And, because I've still been addicted to the Path of Exile. So I really feel like if I went hard just this weekend, I'd be T3. And it's just like, well, why would I want to do that? So I'll probably back off just a little bit.
How are you finding people for your raids? Like, are you just using, is there a matchmaking system? Or
I think the toughest part of that was like the Abyss dungeons. So there's the Chaos dungeons, right? Which is just the grind. And like literally anyone and their mom could do that because it's just like, kill stuff. It's the easiest thing in the world. And so then you get the Guardian raids, which, they can be tough, especially as you get into T2 plus. I think the T1 guys are pretty simple, but if you've never done those fights before, you can certainly get your ass handed to you. And it doesn't help that you only get to see like each guy one time if you're trying to like zerg through it as fast as you can. But yeah, I just did LFG for that. Not a big deal. I do think I'll probably have to start like doing pre-mades for like T2. The other thing was the Abyss dungeons. The Abyss dungeons are like what the Chaos dungeons used to be, but like way harder. And so the Abyss dungeon I went into, you would get a stacking debuff above you that was like Dragon's Breath or something. And then, if you got the 5 stacks, it wiped everybody. But there'd only be like one thing that would spawn that could cleanse you per round. But like each person in the group had to like trade off.
You had to take turns, figure out like who's going to get it this round.
But if you're taking too many stacks, like everyone's going to get fucked anyways. So it was pretty interesting. And like that, we wiped and I was in a pickup group. We wiped like 6-7 times before we like figured out that mechanic. And the same thing.
Were you communicating in your group? Did people talk? Because people haven't said anything in the party chats I've been in so far.
We wiped the first time, and then people were like, "What the fuck?" And so we went in the second time, and we wiped again. And I was like, "I think it has something to do with the stacks." And so we figured out like, don't get the 5 stacks. But then we're like, "Oh, we're always getting the 5 stacks." And then we noticed like the clicky things, like, "Oh, that clears your stacks." And so then we went in, and like everyone was like rushing to click the things, and we had no coordination on clicking the thing. Yeah, so it's like we figured it out.
Right. That's cool.
Certainly you could have gotten it better, like via comms or something like that.
Right.
So I think that will be what's nice if you ever catch up. It won't be a big deal.
I'm there. I'm 50. I'll get there soon.
All right. Sure.
We'll be there.
Yeah.
I just like I said, man, I had a scuff start and I re-rolled. Like re-rolling in the 30s was like a total waste of time, you know. And on top of that, the speed at which my sorceress level versus the pally was pretty different too. Like the kill time for the sorceress was so much faster that I could blaze through stuff harder. So, but also playtime. I don't play as much as you.
According to this article that you posted,
check us out.
1.3 million concurrent users.
That's second all time concurrent users on Steam. All time.
Insane.
Every game, like Steam has every game ever, man. Like 1.2 million
CS:GO. Wow.
That's crazy.
So beat out Dota and just under CS:GO, I guess.
I guess they don't have Fortnite. If they had Fortnite, they'd probably be number 3. But
damn.
Yeah, man, that's pretty nutty. I mean, that's a hell of a launch. I posted the concurrents for today alone also in the schedule. I don't know if you saw that. But this is just today. This is literally this podcast is airing on 2/17/22, and they had what was that number of concurrence? Is it showing the thing? If you scroll down just a little bit, I think there it is. Lost Ark has 900 something thousand concurrents.
Damn,
like that's still some crazy numbers, man.
Okay, like Steam users logged in. I was like, wait, Lost Ark is 28 million.
No. That's just Steam games played. Yeah. So
damn.
That's a lot of people though, man. Like it's banging. The number 1 game today.
Yu-Gi-Oh? So, what the fuck?
Yeah. Some Yu-Gi-Oh card game.
Huh. Okay.
Yeah, Apex is on there too, which is funny. But if you just look at the difference, man. Well, no, Lost Ark broke 1 million today, didn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's just nutty, man. Nutty numbers.
Concurrent. That's nuts.
Yeah, at the same time. 1 million at the same time. That's why the launch was so scuffed, is they weren't expecting that. They were trying to spin up some of those AWS servers, from the Amazon games, and Amazon servers, some of those
New World servers that
they would run that shit on Azure. We would have been all right, boys. Oh, those New World servers and Lost Ark servers, man. That's what are you gonna do?
Well,
run that shit on AWS.
Impressive. Nonetheless, wow.
I'm not biased, I promise. So I guess that's it on the Lost Ark.
The thing that's been surprising to me on Lost Ark in particular is I think literally, so I've jumped into a bunch of streams like the Summit, the Asmin, a lot of the POE guys are maining Lost Ark right now. And what I've noticed while I'm in there is like I haven't heard like a negative thing said. Period. Regardless of all this pay to win stuff, like everyone has been like almost like weirdly positive. Like they're getting paid, even though there's like no hashtag ad in their title. You know what I mean? Like
it's because it's a new ARPG. Yeah. So for all the POE guys and Diablo guys, it makes so much fucking sense.
Oh yeah.
It's not even ARPG for real. It's gameplay mechanics. It's kind of, but it's just new and fresh, and we're so ready for that. Like I think there's such a huge market for an ARPG, a AAA kick-ass ARPG, and this is filling that void, man. I think this kind of proves it,
You're so thirsty
I will say,
for a new WoW.
On the pay to win scheme, I did want to touch that kind of a little bit.
Okay. Just open up the story.
I get asked this question a lot. I get asked by people, is Lost Ark pay to win? And I've had DMs on my BNet, my Discord, Twitter. People are like, hey, is this pay to win? Should I play it? Like, P, what do you think of Lost Ark? Is it pay to win? Should I play it? Is literally like how the questions usually go. And my answer is yes, you should play it. Absolutely. If you get into PvP, which I've done a couple rounds of PvP just for fun, just to check it out. And it was an interesting experience. But if you get into PvP, I don't think there's hardly any pay to win element in PvP. Normalized. I think you're fine there. So like that's cool. In PvE, it's literally a pay to progress system. You're not spending money and buying gear. You're spending money to buy chances to do a dungeon again, to get gear again. And so there's a little bit of pay to advance in there. But I don't think that's really going to get you what you need, because you're still going to have to get other things on top of the gear. Like you're still going to have to grind. And I don't even know all the in-game things yet, but like the engravings and the other pieces that you need to juice up your gear to max level. So I would say that the pay to win aspect is pretty low, and ultimately, it's not a huge influence on your enjoyment level of the game. I don't think it's going to make or break. I think you could play this game for free, never spend any money, and you'd be perfectly fine and could experience the game and the content and be okay. Do you agree with that?
I think that if you're one of these like hyper competitive guys that are just like rushing gear score as fast as you possibly can, and you see someone like 100 gear score higher than you, you might get a little frustrated by the idea that you don't know whether or not they paid to get there faster. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like, did they outplay me, or are they just buying packs of like materials on the cash shop? But to me, that's really, really stupid, as we've said like time and time again about Lost Ark. It is to pay to progress faster, yes, but you are doing yourself a disservice if you do that. Like, I'm already pissed off that I've rushed through the content like instantly. T1 is done. Like, that sucks to me. Like, I enjoy those Guardian raids. I didn't get to do the Abyssal dungeons more than once, and I think that
I mean, you can go back and do them. You just don't get anything.
There'd be no
from
point,
them.
right? Exactly.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think it's incredibly stupid.
So when I get the T1 raids, I'm like, yo, Fluff, come carry me in T1s, and it'll be your reason to go back.
Yeah, I would do that, sure. And I'm not penalized for doing that. That's fine.
Right, yeah. But I understand you're not getting anything.
But your experience is kind of penalized from that, because I'm going to go in there and like that fight's going to last like 3 minutes as opposed to like 15 minutes because I'm way over geared.
Yeah. But like, you can't get your skill point potions. You can't buy those. Yeah. You can't buy your runes. You
grind out the content.
You can't get your commander set stuff. Like, there's a list of things that you actually have to play the game to get. So what you can buy is you can buy gear score, and with buying the gear score, it's going to give you access to the higher level content, faster, which is going to get you the gear. But just because you have the gear score doesn't mean you're going to be able to clear it either. Like, you have to be able to play, and you have to be like, know you're like, so there is some pay to win, and it kind of, I don't want to say there's not a pay to win, but it's a pay to advance. And I don't think that it's a big, at least in my opinion, I don't think it's a big enough deterrent that you should be like, yo, F this game. I'm not down with pay to win schemes, because I don't really think it's that. And I honestly don't think the pay to convenience aspect that I've seen so far feels like it's forced on you either. I think like POE has a much higher pay to convenience that I've experienced. I haven't experienced everything in Lost Ark yet, but like the stash tabs and item management in POE is a super pay to convenience that I feel like you're penalized if you don't do. And in Lost Ark, I haven't seen that yet. So
I think that the aura that you pay for is very pay for convenience. Very, 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 very.
The aura gives you free teleports. It gives you, which are like minuscule anyways.
Right, that's minuscule, but it gives you open slots for your Bifrost, which lets you like instantly port to other countries. That's pretty big. It's not a small thing. It gives you better like faction gain. It gives you more stuff, just like a lot more stuff.
I don't know what all the stuff is on there even yet, but I can't really read what.
So the pay for convenience is definitely there. I will also say, like, I bought the ship because the ship is faster. And now I want to be clear here, because I think that this is something that would frustrate people, right? So if I'm running around the world, I'm having a good time, I'm killing mobs, and I mount up and I'm on my horse that you get at like level nothing. And then
it's free now.
Along comes Lord Fluffy, and he's got his 3-headed wolf, and he double jumps past me, and he gets his quest done faster. I think as a player, I'd be like, well, dang, like, that's. I wish I had that. I wish I had that. He's going faster. Yeah. God, we paid to win. But ultimately, like, if you really think about it, like, yeah, I got there faster, but to what end? Like, it's the whole pay to win
literally
system
a second.
Yeah,
like you got there.
Well, it's not just that, but like I might get to endgame faster than you. I might progress my gear faster than you. What does that mean in Lost Ark? I'm gonna get bored faster than you. Honestly, that's all it means at the end of the day. Is I'm rushing the content to the top tier, and I'm gonna sit there and grind dailies on it, and I'm gonna be bored. And you're like taking your time, you're enjoying it. It's like you're getting a better experience than I am. Really,
I agree with that 100%. I don't think you have to spend any real money to enjoy this game to its fullest. I really don't. I don't think that you need to spend any money at all. I think if your choice to spend money on this game is solely based on, do I want to support the developers because I like their product?
Yeah.
And if that's the case, then cool. I'll get a cosmetic out of it. I'll get a fancy horse. I'll get some wings or a bikini outfit, whatever you're into. You know what I mean?
Yeah, or the
so
sailing
I will
thing.
say that they've put some stupid transmogs in the game already. Go look at that mount. Go look at the mounts they're selling right now.
Yeah, the mounts are dumb.
Like WTF, man. What is this garbage? Like, what is that?
It's just like this is what they love, you know.
I don't. But it's like,
I
come
hate.
on, man.
I mean, I hate Santa hats.
Yeah,
What the fuck
I
is
think
this
that's
doing in the game?
I think that's stupid AF. And I wish that if they had some big ass like a reindeer thing, like
This is
that's the
fine.
same one they had in Russia too.
This
It's
is
like
fine.
if they had some big ass flaming horse, like on fire, Diablo looking devil horse thing, I'd be like, yo, I'm buying that.
Totally.
But they don't. Like they have some
This is
stupid
dumb.
pinata
Right.
horse. Like what? I don't care about that.
Mm-mm.
The shop is weird to me because it doesn't have a lot of things on it. I would expected it to have more.
I bought the
I
skin.
expected it to be more Black Desert Online. Have you ever seen Black Desert Online store?
Yeah, I think, but
It's crazy,
literally
man.
ages ago.
Yeah, it was nutty. So, but yeah, that's it. That's all I wanted to hit on is because I know we get asked, at least I get asked a lot, is it pay to win? And it's like, it's kind of pay to convene. Like, no, like you don't have to spend any money. You can play the game, enjoy the game, have a good time.
Mhm.
PvE, there's no pay to win. Or PvP, sorry, there's no pay to win. So that's competitive and fair. And PvE, it's like, who cares? You know what I mean? So,
Yep. I think that's really all we had on the schedule for.
we had some Wolcen.
Yes, for Lost Ark. I mean.
Oh yeah, sorry.
Yes, so Wolcen. Spoiler, I wanted to set it up because I know people plug out when we even say Wolcen.
Wolcen's so good.
So they're coming out with, I mean, to be honest, a somewhat sizable patch for Wolcen. It's called Wolcen Aegis of Stormfall. And they're basically getting a new endgame system called the War Table. And with the War Table, you get like kind of new endgame activities on top of expeditions and mantras and the Wrath like we already had before. So one's called the Curse Breaker, which is basically, I mean, it looks like this.
Sitting in a ring?
It says Malinus covers the land, escort a new ally to key areas and defend them. So it's like King of the Hill, but like you move with it. Beware of temptations
It's
and
like
dark.
ritual from POE. You're stuck in a circle.
It looks like ritual, but like you could bump out and get stuff. It's kind of like ritual meets delve. It's like if you go outside the circle, it's probably really bad for you, but there's stuff out there you might want to grab. Yeah.
Okay.
Which is cool. There's also onslaught. Enter the killing fields to survive increasingly large waves of enemies until none remain.
That's cool.
Which remind me of, you know, the old GR trials in Diablo 3. I am not a fan of this, just like going and fighting endless waves of stuff. I think that's like too easy.
I don't think it's bad to have the option there if people are into that kind of thing, but it wouldn't be my jam either. The trial system in Diablo 3 was the worst thing ever in life. When we had to level those runes and stuff.
To,
oh my
God. And that's what I fear in Wolcen is like, okay, this is an option. There's probably going to be benefits of doing each one of these things. So if it exists, then I don't like that. There's Headhunt. Enter the domain and a mighty boss to fight it. I'm down with this. This is just like a boss fight place.
You're down with the head hunting?
Yep. I love boss fights.
You hunt that every Friday, right?
And then Sabotage. Deprive the enemy of a powerful ward stone, but be warned, not only is the stone quite capable of handling itself and defending itself, but it will summon champions. So it looks like, what do I compare this to? You spawn a shrine with like Nemesis bracers on or something, and the shrine itself tries to kill you. Kind of D4. D4 has something like that in that.
Dodge the orbs, yeah.
So, yay.
Okay.
So it's on the new war table. And so they've kind of overhauled how it looks. You know, so you see the expeditions, which we already had, and some of the stuff we already had. So I think that looks pretty clean, actually, and could be pretty cool. You know, again, I think if Wolcen keeps adding little morsels, it could be a decent side game one day. Who knows? They're also doing the skull system, replaces the old expedition progress system on top of a particular item. Each activity rewards a number of skulls based on their difficulty and length. Players collect a certain number of skulls to unlock and progress to the higher tiers. So, you basically, it's I think a more clear system of what you'll get by increasing to the next tier, which is cool. And like, you need 223 skulls to advance to the next tier. It's more clear, probably, other than just like progressing the max thing. But yeah, and they're also adding new monsters.
Okay.
I don't know what this thing. Architect. Oh, this is a new monster. Okay, cool. New armor, cool.
All right.
Looks good.
Those look cool. Like it.
New environments.
New environments are good.
Yes. New damage type modifiers, which are pretty big in Wolcen.
Shadow damage. Okay.
Well, shadow damage already existed, but now you can be put it on Bladestorm.
Oh, you can put on different skills.
With Wrath of Baphomet has Ren damage now, which I assume is only a matter of time before every skill gets every element added to it. That kind of just makes sense, I guess. But yeah. And a bunch of small fixes, bug fixes. But pretty juicy for Wolcen. Pretty juicy.
I'm happy. I'm happy for Wolcen. Like I probably will never play it again, but I'm happy for them.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and that's that, sir.
That's it.
Is all that's on the schedule.
Do you got some hates?
I do.
Or some loves?
I do. My hates goes back to Path of Exile's Battle Pass.
Okay.
You might think you know where this is going, but you don't. Okay, so
I think you do, but you don't. I'm with you.
The Battle Pass came out, and immediately Path of Exile's community is pretty quick to jump on, I think, the negative bandwagon instead of giving GGG the benefit of the doubt, which I think that they should, because historically GGG has proved itself time and time again that they, as a company, are gamers, and their head honcho is Chris Wolcen, who to me I think is arguably the most in touch person at his level in gaming, period, probably. And like also very in touch with like Twitch and that community and like that vibe and stuff like that. So when the came out of the Battle Pass and people are immediately like, oh my God, pay to win, or just jumping down the throat and expressing their distaste for it, I think that's, I don't know. I mean, that's bound to happen in anything, but I think Mathla made a good comparison, because he was like kind of, I mean, he's pretty savage to people that shit talk POE, but his comparison was like, if you went to the grocery store and they're like selling like a brand of tampons, right, that was really, really expensive, and you're a guy, like you don't even like need the tampons, and you're like you go up to like someone that works at the store and you're like, these fucking tampons suck, I'll never shop here again. And like, it's just like, it's completely irrelevant to you. It doesn't change your experience. Like, you're not there to get the tampons. It doesn't matter that the tampons change the price, because it doesn't affect you whatsoever. Right. But you're still like making it an issue. I think that.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with a lot with that. So, I mean, I played the crap out of Lost Ark, and like I spent money on the game, but I bought stash tabs with all my money, right? I spent $60.
You keep saying Lost Ark and you mean POE.
I know, dude. It's sorry. I spent $60 on stash tabs and POE. It's like you when you say season in league. It just it's like a thing. It just flips. But yeah, it's who cares, man? Like you don't have to spend. You can get so much enjoyment and not spend a penny. I don't understand. Like they're giving you the game for free, you asshats. Like what are you complaining about? So that bugs me. We do see that a lot, man. We see people.
Totally.
It's entitlement, I guess. They think that they're entitled to all these things, and it's like, guys are busting their ass. Yeah, and you're getting to play for free. It's crazy. Like it's crazy to me when we started this podcast 4 or 5 years ago. God, has it been that? It's been forever, man.
Jesus, yeah.
We started this podcast that so many years ago, and hey, free to play was kind of a thing that you didn't like. You kind of. If a new game was coming out and it's free to play, we were at least for me, for sure.
Oh yeah,
I was like, "Fuck that!"
Both
game.
of us.
I'm not interested at all. And now that's kind of the standard.
Yeah,
it's kind of
now it's like not free to play.
I want it to be free to play. Yeah, because I want people to come play it with me, and if it's good, then I'll buy some stuff and give them some money. Mm-hmm. But like my favorite games now are free to play games, like Apex Legends, free to play. I play the crap out of that game. Lost Ark is free to play. Mm-hmm. Play the crap out of that. POE, free to play. Play the crap out of that. What else do we got? What else is on the list? I mean, the games that I pay money for, like World of Warcraft, I pay $15 a month to play World of Warcraft, a 15-year-old game. I'm literally paying $15 a month to play fucking classic TBC World of Warcraft. It doesn't make any sense. Think about how stupid that is. I wouldn't spend $15 a month on Apex, right? Like think about these free to play. Do you pay $15 a month to play POE?
Yeah,
it's weird when you think about it like that, though. But do you spend $15 on cosmetics a month? No. And a lot of people probably don't. but they're like, yeah, I'll spend $15 on WoW just because it's been the standard for 20 years.
I think honestly, like I haven't bought the last 2 leagues worth of like starter packs because I'm sitting on like 2,000 points with nothing of interest to spend it on. So like that's kind of a problem, because I don't foresee myself like buying packs because I don't have anything that I want to spend my money on, and that feels
like
bad.
I like Lost Ark enough that I'm going to spend money on the game. I've already decided I'm going to spend money. I'm just waiting for something to come out that I'm like, ooh, I really like that. I want to buy that. And it's going to be a mount of some sort, right?
Do
or
you
a
like your
that's
skin for the class? Have you seen the skin?
I did. I didn't like it that much. So they have the pack out now. I forget the name of it.
Yeah, I don't know.
And I checked it out, and it's like, the horse is okay. Like if you buy the $30 one, you get a mount or something, and it looks okay. But the skins in them, I wasn't super in love with. So I'm like, I'll just wait. You know, there'll be something cooler later on. So, they're giving out more. Oh, by the way, I don't know if we talked about this either. They're apologizing, I guess, for the crappy launch, and they're giving everybody that logs in between the 19th, which is 2 days from now, so Saturday, to March 2nd, I think it is. Look it up. It's on POE's website. You can look it up.
You gotta stop that.
They're giving them free skin. Lost Ark. God damn it. It's on Lost Ark's website.
Jesus.
I need to go to sleep.
Yeah.
It's on their website, and they're going to give anybody who plays some free stuff, a free mount. It's actually a pretty cool looking mount. You can choose between a black or a white horse that has wings and stuff. Looks cool. And then if you bought a founder's pack, then you're going to get extra stuff. I don't really know exactly what, but it's a lot more stuff. So it's pretty cool. So anyways, log in between the 19th and the March 2nd.
Hell yeah.
So, yep. For my loves.
Yeah. What do you got?
You know, I totally forgot to think of some loves today.
Wow.
I know. Trying to think. I love not being banned on WoW, actually. No, I don't know. I'll think about it. If something hits me during the questions, I'll come back to it. I'm trying to think if I watched. Usually it's show related.
Yeah, it has been for you.
Peacekeeper has been my jam.
I'm
sad
right?
that. Yeah, I'm sad. I'm sad it's over.
I still haven't seen a single episode.
You haven't seen any of them?
Mm-mm.
Oh man,
I've been getting them out of my mind, dude.
You know what, Pchild, I love the new Matrix movie. You guys should all go watch that.
Don't tell people to go watch that. People might.
I'm kidding. Don't go watch the Matrix movie. You'll hate me if you waste life. Let's get into some Twitter questions. If you guys want to submit questions to the podcast, you can submit them on our Twitters at Lord__Fluffy, at ThaPChild, or you can join our Discords. There's links all over the place. The first question comes from Hunter Rose, and this was the question I was going to talk about earlier, but I knew that it was already asked, so I just skipped it. Hunter says, what do you like more, the PoE League or Lost Ark? What's your jam right now? Like, what are you playing? What do you want to play? What are you playing?
I feel like I've been splitting them pretty equally, but all I want to do is play PoE.
Okay, so you're forcing yourself to play Lost Ark?
Yes. It's not that I'm not enjoying it. I'm enjoying it to an extent, but there's so many things about
it's
Lost
funny
Ark
you say that
like.
Because I kind of feel the same. I feel like I'm forcing myself to play Lost Ark right now. But when I do it, I don't have a bad time.
Yeah, it's not hard.
You know, like I log in and
right.
I'm playing, but I'm sitting there and I'm like, man, I kind of would like to play WoW right now. I'd kind of like to play Apex.
What the fuck are you doing in WoW? That like you want to spend more time?
I'm grinding my druid up. I'm getting my druid all feral.
And this is classic.
Yeah.
You've already done this, so that doesn't make any sense to me.
It's fun, dude.
No. How?
How's PoE fun?
Explain to me, because it's a different experience every single time you play.
It's such a good experience. What if they brought back Harvest League? Would you play it again?
Well, yeah, but you'd still have all the...
Yeah, but what? It's the same thing. You've already done it,
No, because there's like a million fucking builds in Path of Exile. Literally a million.
I'm playing a new class. I'm playing a Feral Druid now.
But it doesn't matter. It's the same. You've played a Feral Druid before. It's always the same.
No. I hadn't played in Classic. I didn't play Feral Druid.
Okay, well, you're going to experience that for a bit, and then like what? You make a new character, and it's a finite number of things you can possibly do.
My argument just won. I said, would you play Harvest League if they dropped it again? And you're like, yes,
because there's a billion builds I've never played. There's like 16 for you.
I didn't play.
Yeah, cool. And then when you finish that class, you'll be done.
It's just fun, man. It's the pinnacle. It was the pinnacle to me of WoW. It was the best, and it's been 15 years on top of that, right? So, yeah,
That's just mind blowing. That's like asking me, like, would I play Reaper's Souls launch patch? No,
I wouldn't do that either. What the fuck? Yeah, that's not the same because I wouldn't do that either.
But it's just like the same. It's the same as it like was.
No,
I don't understand.
But it was good. Reaper's launch patch sucked ass. That's the difference. You know it did. Like, you can't argue it didn't. So,
I mean, I guess at any point in Diablo 3's history, would I go back and do that? No.
That's because we've done the same Diablo 3 for 8 years.
How is that different for you? You've not stopped playing WoW this
changed.
entire
WoW
time.
got expansions and changed over the 15 years.
But you're not experiencing that. You're experiencing what it was, and we've already done that.
Because that was the good juice.
No. I've had times where I played so much Diablo 3, you could not pay me to go back and play those like seasons again. What are you talking about?
Because we played it so much.
You did the same thing with WoW. That's exactly the same. It's exactly
because I'm the same with Diablo 3 too. You couldn't pay me to go back and play some of that old shit too. Like, I don't care. Anyways, you're derailing because I'm right, because you would go back and play harder.
You're so wrong.
But I do feel the same with Lost Ark, man. I feel for some reason, I feel like I really have to play it right now. I don't know if it's the fear of missing out or if it's the pressure of keeping up, like with the Joneses, like kind of what you were saying. Like, you're like, I feel like I need to rush into T3. That there's like this thing in the back of your mind. It's like, you got to do this. Maybe because it's new. I don't know.
I think a part of it for me is like just being a streamer. And like when people ask me questions, I want to know the answer.
Yeah. That could definitely be it. I don't know. It's like, I feel like I need to play it. And I have a good time when I do it. So it's not like it's a bad thing. Right. But there are definitely times where I'm like, man, I think I'd rather play something else. But I need to, let me get on Lost Ark anyways. I need to hurry up and get this new alt leveled up or whatever.
Right.
So, so I do it. Hex says you can magically pull a screen up with stats on your life like a video game.
Oh, God.
What stat are you going to look up first?
I don't know.
I don't.
That's so broad. What stat would I look up first?
How many times you made friendship?
No, I don't care.
It'd be interesting. That'd be a stat to know, though. It'd be like, oh, really?
I don't think I'd want to know, to be honest.
It'd be fun to guess and then try to see like how close you are, to the number. How many times did you say a bad, like how many times have I said the F word? How many times have I said whatever, just to see like, oh man, 20,000 times. Wow. That's crazy.
Huh.
I don't know. What stat could you?
Hours wasted in past relationships. I don't know. Fuck.
All of them, dude. For you. All of them, all the hours.
Fuck. No idea.
I don't know. It'd be interesting though.
Yeah.
You guys can leave some comments. What would you look up? Coda says, do you remember the moment that made you the angriest in a video game ever? What happened? What's the maddest you've ever been? For you, it's got to be a Halo tournament or something, right?
There was a Halo tournament where it was 4-on-4 team deathmatch, and I got 38 kills in a tournament game, right? So these are very good players. Supposed to be very good players, both sides. I got 38 kills, and we lost. It's to 50, just to put that in perspective. I had 38 kills of 50, and my team couldn't come up with 12 to win the match.
Is this 3v3 or 4v4?
4v4.
4v4, okay.
I don't think I've probably ever.
Well, they couldn't get the kills probably because you were stealing their kills. Like, they're doing all the damage, and then you're getting the final blow.
No,
right?
It's not. I was on a fucking tear, and this is the team that ended up winning the whole thing. I was like, God damn
it. That's the maddest ever. I don't know. I don't know the maddest that I've ever been. I can remember a couple times of like bad feels. And one of them was recent. So in Classic on WoW, this was before Blizzard changed like how looting works, and they still let other classes roll on your gear. even if they couldn't really use it, you could still roll on it and take it. Like there was, we did this dungeon in Classic, and we had just hit 70, so everybody needs everything. Like any upgrades you get are huge, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's an enhancement shaman in the group. I'm playing a rogue. We both are melee DPS. Rogue class specific pants dropped, and this guy need rolled on them because they were an upgrade for him, because he could equip them, and they were a slight upgrade for him. But those were like super fucking good for me that I would wear for a while, and he would like replace them pretty instantly, And he took them, and then he was like, "Sucks to suck," and left or some shit like that, And I was pretty salty at that one. That's a recent one.
Okay, trying to think. Give me something in the past 5 years IRL that got you the most mad.
Ooh. I don't know. Do you have one?
I know mine. 100%. I know mine. Okay, let me tell you the scenario. I don't know if I ever told this story, because I don't think I could before, right? Because I was still with Lindsay.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so this was the scenario. Okay, so Lindsay's birthday was coming up, and all week she said she's gonna go out with her girlfriends. We're gonna meet at a sushi bar, and like that's the plan. I'm like, cool. In my head, I'm thinking, because she said it's just the girls, or I'm gonna go with the girls. So I automatically in my head, for some reason, I had thought, oh, it's a girls thing. It's a girls' night. So that Friday,
logical.
That Friday rolls around, and she's at the thing. And I remember texting her like, oh, hey, have a good time tonight. Happy birthday. And then she texted me at like 6 or 7. She's like, where are you? I was like, I'm at home. Like, I'm playing like Diablo or something. She's like, why aren't you here? I was like, oh, like I'm supposed to be there. You had mentioned it like going out with the girls all week. So I just assumed like my bad for not clarifying. So I get ready as fast as I can. I drive clear to Olathe, which is on the other side of the city. It takes like 40 minutes to get there, 30 minutes to get ready. So I'm like hella late. And I arrive, and it's all girls, and I'm like, and they're giving me the eye like, fuck this guy.
What a douche.
What a douche. So I'm like, shit. And so I pull up. I'm like, okay, like I'll buy a round for everybody. Let's cheer everybody out. Let's like try to make some positivity out of this. I'm like, I'm already I'm in the trenches taking grenades. So like, let's just try to turn this thing around. And I feel like I do a pretty good job of like getting everybody to like cheer up and have a good time. It's Lindsay's birthday. I want her to have a good time. I felt bad. I genuinely felt bad. And so we wrap it up at that sushi place, and we're like going to go to another bar. And Lindsay like tells her friends like, hey, I'm going to ride with Vaughn. And I'm in my head, I'm like, oh God, like,
yeah, she's pissed.
She's pissed, which is, understandable. It's fine. So she gets in the car. She's like, I just don't understand how you thought that it was going to be a girls thing. I was like, well, you had said all week that like you're going to meet with the girls, and like, I'm sorry I got confused. I'm really, really sorry. Like, I should have clarified. It's your birthday, for God's sake. Like, I messed up. Like, I'm sorry. And then she's like, yeah, but I just don't understand like how you thought that it was going to be a girls thing. I'm like, again, like, I'm really sorry. If we could get past this, like, I'll make it up to you. I promise. Just like, I messed up. Like, I'm sorry. And like, like 30 seconds goes by, and she's like, yeah, but like, how did you misunderstand that? Like, that's really kind of stupid of you to misunderstand that. And I'm like, at that point, it's kind of like, it's poking, right? It's just like poking. And I'm just like, okay, well, again, like, I'm sorry. You had said the girls, again, all I can say is I'm sorry. And like, you can either like accept my apology and we can move on, or like we can keep talking about this for the next hour. And so she's like, yeah, okay. A minute goes by. She's like, yeah, but like, how the fuck did you misunderstand? It's like, shut the fuck up. I think that's the most loud I ever got it, Lindsay. And the entire time we're together, I was like, shut the fuck up. I said, I'm sorry. Like, what the fuck else can I say? Just kept poking.
Oh my God.
That's probably the maddest I've been in 5 years.
I don't know, man. So I got one, and okay. I'm still not over this. Like, I don't think I've told this story either, because I'm gonna get revenge, and I have it planned out in my head. Yeah. So this was relatively recent. My wife and I were like, we we have some we invest in real estate.
Okay.
And we just bought a new property.
Okay.
And we needed to get a new gas oven. This house has gas appliances. We needed to get a new oven. And so my wife, this is an investment, so it's not like we're gonna live there. We're frugal with it. Like we're not going out and buying like really expensive stuff.
Sure.
My wife says, "Hey, check out this oven. It's on Facebook Marketplace. It looks really nice." And I'm like, "That's not bad. That's a good price too." I was like, "Okay." So I messaged the person, and then they're like, "Yep." And I'm like, "Everything's good." Like, "Yep." All right, cool. I go down, I look at it. It looks good. And I talk to him, and I was like, "Everything's fine." And like, they're sure, like, "Everything's cool. We just remodeled our kitchen. We don't need it anymore." He was in like a decently nice neighborhood and all this and that.
Okay.
Pick it up. I stick it in the car. I drive down to the place, hook it up. Seems good to go. But then I go back to the house the next day and I smell gas.
Oh.
And I'm like, "Oh shit." So I call the gas company. I'm like, "Hey, you guys need to come out. I smell gas in the house. Not sure what's going on, but I'm scared," right? They're like, "Okay." So they send the people out immediately. Track down, it's leaking. There's like a pipe underneath the stove that was like broken or whatever, and it was leaking out of there. So instantly I'm like, this asshole knew it was broken and just bought a new one and gypped me out of the money. So I message him on Facebook. I'm like, "Hey man, I don't know if you know, but this oven that you sold me is actually leaking gas everywhere. Like, can we talk about that?" And he blocks me on Facebook.
Wow.
I'm like, "You dirty son of a..." But I picked it up from his house, and I have photos of his license plate.
Oh, geez. Oh, God. This is incriminating at this point.
Yeah, I'm not going to go any further with my revenge story.
God damn.
But I promise you, it's going to be a couple years, but someday I'm going to get some revenge.
You sell something to him that's like...
I'm going to sell him something. I'm not even going to go any further. I'm not going to jail.
Oh, God.
No, it's not going to be too bad. It'll just be like, listen, I'm going to get my money's worth, right? You know what I'm saying? So that's it. But yeah, that. I was pretty angry at that. Yeah. Honestly, like that's, like what a scumbag. Mm-hmm. What a scumbag. And like, you kind of know that can happen when you're on. Yeah, right. When I disappear, you know what happened. So that's it for the Pchild loves, Fluff hates. Let's jump in. Oh wait, no, we were already past that. From the Twitter questions. Yeah. See where I'm at? Fluff, I'm losing my mind, man.
Yeah, dude.
Akers says, if you were buried alive, what does he say? If you were buried alive, you have enough battery to make one phone call and service to make it. Who are you calling?
Fuck. I used to have this I know exactly what to call.
Yeah, I know exactly who I call instantly.
But now, no.
You would have called Lindsay before?
No,
is that what you're saying?
God, no. Oh. But I had some friends, my neighbor, although we weren't insanely close, he's very, very reliable person. Very reliable.
Yeah. Yeah.
But now we don't even talk. God damn.
What about the big bro?
I mean, he's a gamble. He's such a gamble.
He's a gamble. I can totally see that.
He is flaky. He is who knows? He's sketch. Everything he does is sketch, right? I told this story the other day. My brother, just everything he does is just inherently sketch. We're in Florida, right? And he's like, it's 12:30 at night. He's like, I need some Tums. And there's Tums in the console. I'm like, there's Tums right there, dude. He's like, no, I don't like this flavor. It's we need to go to CVS real quick. I'm like, okay. And so we go to CVS. He goes inside, and he's in there for half an hour, and I'm in the car with his girlfriend. And finally, half an hour later, he comes out with these tropical flavored Tums. I'm like, what the fuck took so long? He's like, yeah, my stomach's not feeling great, and I was in the bathroom, blah blah blah. I was like, I don't know. It's just if it was anyone else, if it was you, it's believable. But it's my brother, so it's what the fuck were you doing in there? What the fuck were you doing?
What were you doing in that Walgreens? Right? I don't know, man. Yeah. For me, I would call my brother, and it's weird because you would think that I'd say my wife, but it's I know that my brother would drop anything and everything and come save me from the casket, and he would be resourceful enough to figure out how to get me out the quickest.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
My wife would definitely try, but I think my wife would be like, "You're full of shit," and hang up, right? You get one call, right? I'd be like,
You
babe,
guys
hold on,
troll
stop.
each other.
I'm very.
Do you guys have a safe word?
No, just no. Like,
You
just
need a
think. No,
safe
we
word.
don't. But just think about how this would go, right? I'd be like, babe, listen, I'm
Right.
buried in a casket. I'm at XYZ cemetery. I need you to come get me. She'd be like, shut the fuck up, click.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I'd be like, and I would die because she thinks I'm playing.
Right.
But my brother, I'd be like, yo, buried in a casket. I'm not bullshitting. I'm at XYZ cemetery. Come find me. And hang up. And he'd be like, okay. You know, he'd be out there fucking looking. So,
Yeah.
you know, my wife a day later would be like, oh shit, he was telling the truth. And then I'd be dead by then because it'd
Right.
be too late.
Well, see,
So.
that you need to, like, so me and Lindsay, so because I have just troll with Lindsay 24/7, poor thing.
Yeah.
And so we had, like, you know, if I said puppies, it's like, no, seriously, like, listen the fuck up. This is 100% serious. If I said puppies, it was like our safe word of like, no, it's on. This is the thing.
It's too late, man. We've been trolling each other for 15 years.
You
Like, I don't think
word.
you could. Like, the safe word would be a troll. It's like, no. He's setting up a fucking, he's setting up a mega troll. Like, that's what she would think. Okay. She's like, he's setting up a mega troll, and in a year, he's going to use this safe word, and I'm not falling for it. Like, it wouldn't work. You know what I mean? Like, you've been around us. You know how we are, man. It's too late.
Yeah,
it's
you
too
guys
late.
are intense.
So, the last question we have for the night comes from DJ Slimmer. DJ says, what's something you got from free that changed your life?
I got for free?
For free.
My life.
POE. Cost you your relationship. Cost you everything.
Golly, something I got for free.
How did you not know it was a girls' night?
Shut the fuck. Goddamn. Something I got for free that changed my life. I mean, you guys can say POE, sure, but like, I didn't get POE. I downloaded it for free. You know, I'm thinking in my head, like, what was something like I've been given in my life?
I know mine. Like, I got for Christmas, I got two things. I would say, I'd like kind of joking, but I got a steamer for Christmas. My mom bought me a steamer.
And you never pulled anything out of the dryer ever again.
No, like the steamer is so amazing, man. The little hand steamers are so good. I use it on a daily. Like this shirt, when I get it out of the dryer.
If you just got stuff out of the dryer right away, you
no, because I let it sit now. Now I can let it sit in the dryer, and I can stuff it. I can stuff it in a drawer, and I just get it out, and it's like done.
Oh, you frustrating me beyond belief with this whole steamer situation.
Done.
This is a stat I want for you. How many hours have you spent steaming that could have been saved by just getting stuff out of the dryer when it was ready?
It's not as crispy out of the dryer as it is if you steam it. I don't care. It's not, man. Crispy. Steamers are where it's at. Air fryer too. Air fryer is pretty damn phenomenal. I didn't know. Like everybody told me about air fryers before I got one.
What do you use it for? What do you use it for?
I got that as a Christmas gift. Me personally, now, not a lot because of doing the keto stuff.
Okay, but what do you like in it that you like? Oh, man.
Chicken fingers, French fries, chicken fingers. You can even do pizza rolls if you're a pizza roll fan. Those are good.
Okay.
Chicken wings are good. Like I've cooked everything. I cooked a cookie in the air fryer, so I didn't have to like turn the oven on and wait. I just made a big ass cookie in the air fryer.
Okay.
So good. Everything.
Man,
I don't know if it's it's different. It's game changing when you get an air fryer. I didn't think I wanted it. My stepmom kept telling me about it. She's like, you need to get an air fryer. I'm like, I don't care about an air fryer. So she bought it for me. She's like, here, I got you a gift. I'm like, thanks. I'm not going to use this. And then I used it and I was like, this is amazing. So you still have nothing? Jon Snow?
Something I've been given for free. I mean, I guess like my grandma got me a cat when I was a kid. And I got hooked on cats. I don't know. I don't think I'll ever have a cat again after Herbert. I don't know.
Yeah, I'll never have another cat when mine does. F that.
Your cat was definitely weird. I've never seen a cat like be so affectionate to you, but if you like touch it, it like flips its shit. Yeah, but it's like clearly it won't get off of you. It's just like, don't fucking touch me, but like I'm using you for
it's like I'm gonna murder you, but by the way, pet my face.
Yeah.
So yeah.
That's weird.
Yeah. And only to strangers too. Like she won't go at me like that, but that's why I told you, like, be careful. She's gonna freak out.
Yeah.
All right, that's it, man. That's all the questions we have for the pod.
Man, you guys, some disagreements tonight. I said you and I had some disagreements tonight. Like what? Whew, like exhausting.
No, I just don't understand how you didn't know it was.
How are you? This is gonna be a thing now.
That's the thing, dude. This is definitely the thing.
You know,
Chat's gonna harass you all the time. Like, Fluff, is it a girls' night tonight?
I agree. I should have asked. It's her birthday, for God's sake. You know, she was right. I'm not saying she was wrong, but like, just either forgive me.
Well,
or let it go.
I would have taken the same approach though. If my wife told me like, "Hey, I'm gonna go out with the girls to the sushi bar or whatever she's going to,"
Yeah.
I'm instantly excluded from that. I'm like, okay, cool. Like, have fun. That sounds like a great time. Like for you, not for me. That'd be a horrible time for me. But have a good time.
Yeah.
So
a part of me is like, well, did she mean just the girls? And then she was there with the girls, and she's like, man, this would be a lot more fun if Vaughn was here.
Or was she secretly testing like how much you cared about her
Maybe.
because you weren't
like
mad that she didn't invite you?
Yeah.
You know, I don't know.
Everything was a test.
That's kind of the thing that I'm like, if you want something, just tell me, dude. Yeah. Like, just tell me, please. Like, don't make me try to read between the lines. I just want to know. Just if you don't ask for it, I'm not gonna give it to you. So.
Right. To be fair, she always just wanted more of me, which, you know, is reasonable as someone you're dating. But
streams.
Didn't want to give it. Didn't want to do it. But there's a reason, right? Ultimately.
Yeah. Just put a ring on it, man. All those times I made ring jokes.
Yeah, I'm so glad I didn't fucking do that. Jesus Christ.
No, I'm just saying all those times I made jokes and you were like, fuck that. And she's probably in the back of her head going, oh my God, I wish you would.
True.
You know?
Yeah.
Sorry, dude.
Yeah. Don't do that. That's actually kind of a shitty thing to do, to be honest.
It is.
It is. Like, no cap.
I thought she was on board. I thought you had like the female Fluff that didn't want to get married and have kids.
No. She wanted the stuff. I was just trying to like convince her otherwise.
I thought she didn't want the stuff. You had me convinced that she didn't want the stuff.
She had herself convinced too, but I'd always be like, well, I mean, you really like kids. So are you sure? And she'd be like, yeah, I don't think I should, blah, blah, blah. Like, okay. But she wanted kids. It just took like an inkling of, you know, the person that she's with to want kids. To be like, oh yeah, I do really, really want kids. If I had like turned around in a minute and been like, hey, I want kids, she'd been like, okay, let's go.
It's like tonight.
Yeah.
Let's do it. All right. We'll catch you guys later. Episode 173.
Yeah.
Next Thursday. You don't have anything coming up,
right? This is 173.
Yeah, 4. Sorry. You don't have anything coming up recently. You going on vacation?
Actually, oh my God, big brain, P. I'm going snowboarding next weekend. I do leave on the 24th.
Okay. Well, when you get back, you'll be back for the 3rd?
Yeah, the 3rd. March 3rd. 3/3.
You guys can catch episode 174 on the 3rd.
Good reminder. All right. Peace out, dudes. Peace.